All right. Hope everybody is doing all right. I hope you can hear me all right. We're just going to give it a second here for everybody to hop on. I'm going to pull up the group here on my phone so I can read in comments. Oh, and awesome. Just got another person joining in. That's great news. We're just going to give it a second, let everybody hop on here, and then we're going to go through the orientation today. If you're watching this and you are on live, I want you to comment down below. If you're watching this live, comment down below in the comments, hashtag live. If you're watching this on the replay, I want you to comment hashtag replay down in the comments right now. If you're watching this live, go ahead and type that in there so I can see that everybody is on here and ask some questions and set the expectation and all that good stuff. Looks like we have about 3 people watching so far. If you guys are on, again, down in the comments, hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Give it just another second here. All right, now it doesn't show me who is watching live. I know there's a few of you on here right now, but if you are one of those people watching live, go ahead and comment down below, hashtag live or hashtag replay. Now I know a lot of you are going to be catching this one on the replay, and that is totally fine. That is what we're here for. Perfect. Awesome, good stuff. All right, so we're going to jump right on in. I know we have a few of you on here already. Like I said, if you're catching the replay, hashtag replay down below. So anyway, I appreciate you all being here. Let's dive on in. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Coach Blaine. Been a PGA golf professional for a decade now. I'm also a TPI certified professional with a fitness specialization. Also a mobility certified expert with over 6 years of experience working with very high level CrossFitters, building mobility programs for them so that they can perform at their best and not get injured. And what I did along the way was found the relationships between the fitness side and the CrossFit world and what I was doing as a golf swing instructor, and brought them together to develop a unique methodology that's going to help people move better so that they can play better. And that's what this challenge is all about. The idea here is that there is no right way to swing a club. There's many ways to swing a club, but the underlying piece behind whatever your style is mobility. Can your body physically move in the ways that you're asking it to? And oh, awesome, we got Travis on. He's hashtag live and he's driving. Awesome, Travis. Keep your eyes on the road. Appreciate that. Makes me know that you guys can hear me. That's a good sign right there. Awesome. So the idea here is we're challenging ourselves to show up every day for just 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. That's all I'm asking of you guys is 5 to 10 minutes each day to moving your bodies better. And so every day I'm going to be going live right here inside this group and taking you through a mobility routine that you're either going to follow along with live or you're going to watch it later on that day on the replay and go through it at that time. Awesome, we got Amanda in here as well. She's hashtag live. Amanda, thanks for being here as well. That's awesome. So in this 5 or 10 minutes, our whole purpose is to kind of think inwardly about ourselves. The mindset piece of golf and the physical side of golf, they go together. Okay, and a lot of times we talk about wanting to hit the ball farther and we want to improve our focus and things like that. Well, this all comes together, and I'm going to teach you over these next 30 days a technique that I've developed called power stretching. And the idea is we put power in to get power out, and by doing so, we both improve our range of motion and we're able to use that range of motion. So it's strength training and stretching at the same time. Jerry, hashtag live. Thanks for joining in, Jerry. Glad you're on here. Excited for what the next month is going to bring. Now, for those of you that are on here or who are catching the replay, because we're not officially starting until tomorrow, and this is just the orientation, feel free to share this with everybody. We still have time to get people inside the challenge. Now, one of the great things here is knowing that you're not alone in this challenge. I'm going to be here with you every step of the way, and that's why we're doing these live, and that's why we've created a private group. If you're watching live and you have any questions, then in the comments box, you would type #live and then ask your question. And that way I can get to you while we're still on that call. Now, if you can't be on the call live, no problem. When you're watching the replay, you just simply type #replay and then ask your question. I know a lot of you, that's going to be the case because we can't necessarily get on live, but I still want to be able to get to your questions. So the idea is the next day, before we go live, I'll be able to go through all the questions that everybody has asked, and we're either going to address them in that day's live session, or we're going to create separate content that's going to help answer those questions. If we're doing separate content, that's going to be inside my other group, the TourShotGolf Academy public page. I'll have a link to all that coming. Most of you are already inside that group, but if you're not, it's a great way to get some awesome coaching above and beyond what we're doing inside of this challenge here. Okay, so I have a few questions for all of you that are watching live. I know, Travis, you said you're driving, so keep your eyes on the road, but Amanda and Jerry, we're going to test out the functionality here of being able to communicate live. And so my first question to you guys is, how long have you been playing? Okay, now I know there's a lot of different answers to this. I picked up the club when I was 10, but I took 20 years off and now I'm getting back into it, or whatever the case is. I don't care how you define it, but in the comments down below, I want you to share how many years you've been playing. This is going to give me an idea of what we're working with here. Do we have people that are brand new to the game and are starting to get more into it and want to build good fundamentals, or do we have players who have been doing this for a very long time and they want to take their game to the next level? So however long it is you've been playing, let's go ahead and drop that down in the comments below. I'll go ahead and share myself. Awesome, we got Travis in there. Travis, I appreciate you sending that in at a red light, of course. But Travis has me beat by a year. I've been playing 25 years. Travis has been playing 26 years. This is awesome. Looks like it's working well. We got Jerry on and off since 13. Fantastic, Jerry. I know you are very knowledgeable about the game as well. And Amanda, we have about 5.5 years. Awesome, so we have a really good range. And this is great because what we're going to be covering in this challenge applies to everybody at all areas, depending on if you're just getting started or you've been doing this for a while. All right, second question. Number 2, I want to know, what's the best score you've ever shot? And you can either put this down as a score itself or a score in relation to par. Okay, so let's just say you shot a 76. You can either put 76 or you can put 4 over par. That's completely up to you because a 76 on a par 70 is different than on a par 72. But however you want to put it, doesn't matter. So the lowest score that you've ever shot, one of those things that's really cool in golf is it's a game that can't be beat. It can only be improved upon, and that's the journey that we're on, right? We're not going to beat the game of golf. We're simply going to be able to show up each day and be a little bit better than we were yesterday. So what is the lowest score that you've shot? What's that bottleneck that we're potentially trying to get through? We got awesome Jerry coming in with a 73 at Bellingham Country Club. We have Travis with an 81. Travis, I think this year is going to be your year, man. We're going to break that 80 barrier for sure, especially with you being down in Arizona. You have your prime time season just coming up around the corner. And Amanda with a 93. Awesome. And that's a great goal right there of being able to break 90. Fantastic. I wrote my questions down over here, so I got to turn around for a second. All right. Third one. Pain or stiffness, soreness, anything like that. Do you historically have any trouble with your shoulders, with your hips, with your back, with your neck? If there's any areas that give you some problems, I'd love to hear about them. Like myself, historically, I've had a bad lower back. I've been playing this game for 25 years, and unfortunately, when I was younger, I had some pretty bad habits and started to put a lot of stress on my lower back. And that was preventing me from doing a lot, both in my career and as a player. And that's how I got into mobility in the first place, is I was having a lot of back pain at a young age and thought, okay, this has to be a better way. And I just started diving into it, kind of experimenting on myself first, and then taking those lessons that I had learned on myself and applying them into the fitness world, and then translating it from the fitness world into the golf world. And that's what led me down the path of becoming a mobility expert and literally writing a book on golf mobility and everything that goes along with it, now hosting the TourShotGolf podcast and everything else that I'm doing with social media. So for me, historically, lower back has been giving me a problem. I'm curious if any of you here, either live or on the replay, if you have problems, stiffness, soreness, things like that, if you've had, say, a broken wrist, you've dislocated your shoulder cuff, you have a tendency to wake up with a stiff neck. Doesn't matter what it is, but if you have any specifics that you'd like to tailor these conversations to over the next 30 days, please send them down in the comments below, because at the end of the day, it's about helping you and you specifically. Okay, and if I can help you, even if it's just a little bit, then I've done my job, and that's what this community is all about, is we're all in this here together. So if you have anything like that, go ahead and share it down below. All right, now let's get into the expectations of this group. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes each day to go through the routine that I'm going to teach you starting tomorrow. Okay, now it's 5 to 10 minutes to go through that routine. It might take a little bit longer in terms of answering questions and things like that, and that's great, but the idea is we just want 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's kind of like brushing our teeth. Right? It only takes 2 minutes a day, but we have to do it every day. And sure, we can skip a day or two, or, get away with not brushing our teeth for a few days. But if we neglect that essential habit, then the issues we're going to run into are way worse. Right? And that's when we need to go see a specialist. That's where we're going to end up needing PT rehab, or we're going to pull something, we're going to need to go into surgery, or just much, much bigger issues. And I'm a very big believer that most of us can perform daily maintenance on ourselves so that it's easier to move better. And when we move better, we play better. So the expectation is 5 to 10 minutes every day. And when you're watching the video, you're either, like we said earlier, either going to hashtag live down in the comments or hashtag replay down in the comments. If you have a question, that's a great time to ask the question. If you don't have a question, I still need to know that you're watching. And that's the challenge part of it, is I want to be able to hold you accountable. You said you wanted to be here and show up for 30 days throughout this process. So at the end of each day, I'm going to go through the comments and see who left a comment, whether live or replay. If you asked a question, we're going to answer that question. But at the end of the month, if you only showed up 15 times out of the 30, then we know that it wasn't as effective of a time as somebody who showed up all 30 days, right? And that's our goal, is to be able to show up all 30 days. That's the challenge part of this challenge. Now, typically, challenges are more fun and more successful if your friends are involved, okay? So you still have time to share this group with your friends, get everybody in your community, everybody that you know, your playing partners, whoever it is, get them inside this group. And let's also get them inside my other group, the TourShotGolf public Facebook group, which I'll send a link to all that stuff afterwards as well. Because when we have a community and we're all in this together, then that's going to make us more successful than doing it on our own. After all, if we were going to do it on our own, you'd already be doing this by now, which is why we're here and why I wanted to put this challenge together. Let's make sure I don't have anything else to share. Oh, yeah, if you have not done so already, make sure you click on my profile, my Facebook profile, Blaine Sites. Make sure you're friends with me. It's just going to make it easier for us to communicate. And if you haven't already, I want you to DM me or send me a message with your email, okay? And that's going to be important, especially towards the end as well, but I want to be able to stay in contact with you even when the challenge is open. So at this point, I just want to open it up to any general questions that you might have, okay? Any general questions, drop them down in the comments. If you're live, go ahead and just touch them or type them on in. If you're watching the replay, make sure hashtag replay and type your question. While we're waiting for those questions to come in, we have a couple notes coming in. Jerry, hips cramp a lot, especially when haven't done exercises related to them in a while. Yeah, Jerry, I feel your pain. That is a really big one, especially if we've been, say, sedentary or not moving around a lot. The structure around the hip tends to get really stiff and tight, particularly, and I'm guilty of it right now, I'm sitting down. and sitting down is one of the leading causes of hip stiffness and lower back pain and everything like that. We got another question coming in from Carolyn Bear. What equipment do I need? You just need yourself, Carolyn, yourself and some time. We're not going to get into anything that requires equipment. All you need is yourself, and that's the beautiful thing with power stretching, is all the equipment you need, you already have. Now, after the challenge, if we want to go a step farther and get some more specific stretches and exercises and drills related to you and your needs, we can talk about that at that point. But at least for this 30-day challenge, no equipment's needed. You just got to show up each day and be willing to put in 5 to 10 minutes. We have another one here from Amanda. Amanda, no issues with stiffness or soreness? Awesome. So Amanda, in that case, if you don't have any issues with stiffness or soreness, then your goal is to, one, maintain what you already have, and if we can improve along the way, that's awesome. But number two, you're probably going to see a lot of benefit from the mental side of things, because power stretching, which we're going to talk about starting tomorrow, is going to incorporate the physical and the mental. And if we can get both of those working together and communicating properly, then all of a sudden things become a lot easier. We're going to find that when we're out on the course, our swing is going to be easier to stay in posture. We're not going to top the ball or chunk the ball as often. We're going to have a better time predicting how the ball is going to come off. But at the same time, from the mindset perspective, is we're going to be able to hold our focus better. We're going to be able to visualize our shots better. And probably the most important thing is we're not going to get rattled when we do hit a bad shot. And great example was this last weekend, Patrick Cantlay over at the BMW Championship never got flustered, right? He had a dynamite mindset, and that's going to be something that we're going to see a lot of improvement with throughout this journey as well. So anyway, everybody, I appreciate you being here. I want to keep this video particularly under 20 minutes for the orientation. I'm going to post this inside the group as an announcement so you can refer back to it at any time. And I'm also going to, in the description there, post the link to this group so that you can share it with all your friends before we get started. And I'll also post a link to my other group where I'll be able to share different trainings, if you will. So if a lot of you have questions that are really similar to one another, rather than just answering each of you individually, I may just make one piece of content that blankets everybody there. And that's likely where I'm going to be posting it. So anyway, unless there's any more questions coming in, I really appreciate you all being here and being a part of this orientation. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting started with the first official day of our 30-day challenge. Make sure your notifications are on so you can see when I go live. Join in live. Make sure you comment, #live. Let me know that you're watching live with any questions that you might have. If you're watching the replay, #replay and ask your questions then so we can make sure we get to them the next day. All right, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. As always, move better, play better.